Hey, it's Maury. I took delivery of my Hymer Aktiv 1.0 on August 31st and just wanted to walk through a few things that I've found, some things that I've done, and I'm not going to go on camera because I'm a sweaty mess. It's already 90-something degrees in Arizona and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so we will keep me off of camera for your protection. So today's project, this morning's project, was that, which is the MT50 solar monitor that plugs into the solar charge controller back in the back, which is, you know, that cabinet. I don't know why they packed everything in there so tightly. There's no room to work. It was a challenge to get the cord plugged into the bottom of the controller. It took a little bit of doing, but was able to finally get that connected. The RS-485 cable that came with the monitor wasn't long enough, so the charge controller is down here in the power cabinet. Oh, there's another thing that I did. I added, this is an Amazon Basics hotel safe. It's not fire rated or anything, but it was inexpensive and it just fits in this space. Screwed to the back, and I have some rubber standoffs on the bottom here just to keep it from rattling, but I think that was a good addition. So there's the charge controller, and the cable goes underneath. I just used a standard Cat 6 cable that I had to connect it. So you have to fish the cable from there over there, and to do that you have to get into the cabinetry. So this drawer, if you take it out, and to remove these drawers, by the way, these plastic covers pop off, and then there's a spring-loaded latch that you push backwards. It's very difficult to press, but once you do, it will release it from the track, and then the drawer just lifts up off of the rails. Once you figure that out, and hopefully this helps somebody if you need to do it, once you know how to do it, it's really easy. But when you're trying to figure it out, you know, it took me a few minutes to realize how it was assembled. So back behind it is a small opening where you can see some of the exposed wiring and whatnot, and there is a small pass-through point to get into the electronics cabinet there. So otherwise, you know, the cabinetry is decent. Oh, here's where I moved that hook from up front, just for a little extra thing. I can hang keys or something on that. The you know, the cabinetry is okay. It's kind of what I would think of finding at IKEA, maybe a little better than that. You know, overall fit and finish is okay. You know, the seams here at the glue points, I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, so I've cleaned these up a little bit. I've gone through and tightened up screws. One thing of note is all of the interior screws use this square head bit, and so I'm keeping this in the rig because it's handy. But you know, overall it's okay. I tightened up the hardware also. The drawer pulls were a little on the loose side. The cabinet, the face of the cabinet is just thin enough that the screws weren't quite short enough to tighten it completely. So if you pulled one of the screws out, the hardware would actually fall and dangle, where it should be held in place by friction by the other screws. So I just pulled them all out and put in washers, and that seems to have done the trick. A couple of them were noticeably loose. A couple of them were snug, but not super tight. So that's first impressions. You know, I haven't taken it out for a test run yet. I've just been in the driveway. My daughter was out of town, so I was watching the animals, and that gave me a few days to really go through it and get a feel for how everything is assembled and, you know, how it all works together. And you know, I feel pretty comfortable with it now. You know, I've got the operation of the batteries and the electronics down pretty well, and I feel better about it. I think that spending that time at home just going through everything was very helpful. So I think that that's a good idea for anybody that gets one of these. Take a few days and just really go through it, get used to the operation, the way that it runs, the way that it drives. If there is anything that doesn't feel right, or if there's something that you're not sure about, do some research. You know, the forums have all kinds of good information about how to operate this thing. You can see I mounted the Fantastic Fan control there, and I bought one of those magnetic knife holders for when I am sitting still and want to keep something up off of the counter so that I don't cut myself, which is known to happen from time to time. One other thing that I did, going around here real quick, I was fortunate enough to have a flat tire almost immediately, and so when we laid the spare down, this does touch the ground, so this is some of that non-skid tape, and I just cut a length of it and put it around the corner there so that it's protected if it does have to get laid down again.